Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I'm driving a 2008 Jeep Cherokee Overland. Up front is a 5.7 liter V8 and down below is a 5-speed automatic transmission. And if you'd like to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshal.com/overdrive where I'll be writing a complete article about the Jeep Cherokee Overland. But let's get back to that 5.7 liter V8. It is the world famous Hemi engine. Like I said in almost all my reviews of Hemis, this engine has been used forever. It was really debuted in 2003, 2004, and has been used ever since. Even the 2019 Durango has a 5.7 liter Hemi. And this is really Dodge's sort of poster child engine. There have been Hemis in the past, but the modern Hemi really started in about 03, and it actually has cylinder deactivation. So Hemis are able to go down to, I believe it's 4 cylinders with cylinder deactivation. So you get better fuel economy on the highways and stuff like that. I reviewed a 2008 Dodge Charger that had the same feature. And so it being a Hemi, it is not the most sluggish thing in the world. All right, so 5.7 liter, I've let it fully warm up. All-wheel drive, which all-wheel drive V8s, I feel like they're not common, but here we go. That caught me off guard. That really caught me off guard. Wow, the all-wheel drive with a V8, it's so interesting to me. Every time I drive one, I always forget the sensation of an all-wheel drive V8, because when you drive something rear-wheel drive with that much torque, you kind of have to fight it to keep straight. Now, modern technology has gotten a lot better with this, but still, even the Z01 Camaro, the 2018 Z01 Camaro that I drove, when you go straight, you kind of have that initial wiggle. But with all-wheel drive, those front wheels helping out really helps keep the vehicle planted while launching. Because this is the smaller V8 option, because the next step up is the SRT8, which had the 6.2. I can't imagine what those are like. Now, like I said, paired to it is that automatic transmission. Nothing really too crazy here. It's an automatic trans. But the interesting thing with the drivetrain is the all-wheel drive. So this is all-wheel drive. You can either put it in 4-low or neutral, but it is all-wheel drive. Interestingly enough, if you guys saw my 98 Cherokee review, it had Quadra Drive, which is their 4-wheel drive all-time system, which is what this has, but this is actually Quadra Drive 2, the electric boogaloo. I added that last part on, but it is their second iteration of Quadra Drive, and it says so down by the shifter. So let's get into the interior. Well, in front of me I have 4-gauge pods, sort of. On the left is my speedometer, on the right is my tachometer, on the far right is my engine coolant temperature, and on the far left is my fuel. That's all I really need. On the steering wheel, all I have is cruise control, which is alright, it's very simple, but on the back of the steering wheel, I do have volume controls for the radio. On my left here, I do have my power windows, power mirrors, and my memory seat controls way down on the door. They're a little hidden and out of the way. Now let's talk about the center stack. At the very top is the radio. This is the factory radio. It's not a bad radio. Dodge has used these in all of their vehicles. They're not horrible radios. Of course, they are from 2008, so they're 11 years dated at this point, but they're still functional, and they're still not bad by today's standards. Down below that, you get a CD player. Then you come to the information center, which it says so in text, which is weird. I have a couple options here: CT, reset, setup, and menu. As well as down below the information center is the climate control options, which this does have dual zone climate, so your passenger can set a different climate than you, which is super handy. Then we have a couple of interesting buttons below that. Heated seats to the far left, which I just noticed was off. I will turn those on. Traction control off. Then you have tow/haul. This will tell your Jeep that you have a trailer on the back, so it'll adjust what it needs to adjust to accommodate the trailer. Then you have your button to change the pedals, so you can bring the pedals closer to you or further away from you if you would like to do that. Then you have your parking sensor off button, which is interesting. You can actually turn on and off your parking sensors, but it's even more interesting that this has parking sensors. And then the heated seat for the passenger. Then you get your shifter. Nothing really too crazy there, but to the right of that is how you switch from 4 high and 4 low. You actually kind of pull it up. It feels like you're opening a big can of soda or something. And that's how you switch 4 high, 4 low, which is interesting to say the least. I've never seen a 4-wheel drive vehicle do it in that way. The whole center stack here is covered in what I can only assume is fake wood, but it looks nice. The shifter also has that fake wood on it. And then, of course, down at the bottom here, you get your little Quadra Drive 2 plaque. I think it's so funny that they made it seem like Quadra Drive's sequel, like Back to the Future Part 2 or something. The seats are pretty comfortable. They are tan leather, and they say Overland on them. Now, Overland is the second highest trim level of the 08 Cherokee. These are known as WKs. The Overland package came with the leather seats, the heated seats. It's basically just a luxury package. But if you wanted to take it up another step, there is the SRT-8, which had the 6.2 liter V8. But this does not have that big of an engine. It only has the 5.7, which is still a pretty big engine. But as I digress, it says Overland on the seats. I think it looks nice. It's embroidered, and it just has a decently classy look. Last thing about the interior before we get to the back seats is the sunroof. I really like the sunroof. It adds a lot of light to the cabin, which is a big deal for me. Now, like I said, 4-door, we will do a back seat review. All right, so now we are in the back of the Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland. Not bad back seats. They have these sort of, I don't even know, nice fabric inserts, but they're leather otherwise. The front seats had the same. Interestingly enough, I never thought a Cherokee would have this, but it has a DVD player, which I know I just kind of blocked out the camera, but it has an actual screen back here, which is interesting. I don't know what you could plug into it now. Oh, okay, so I just opened up a little trap door. You have yellow, white, and red. I believe it's called RCA connections. And then you have your DVD setup menu and all that stuff down here, which is interesting. They actually give you like a control panel, which is kind of neat. Power windows. You have little extra clips that come down here to hold your dry cleaning. Other than that, nothing too crazy back here. Center console opens up. No cup holders now that I think about it. Nope, I was wrong. There are cup holders down here that fold out of the bottom. Really utilitarian back seat. A lot of stuff going on back here, but really nice back seat, and I can't complain too much. Now, overall, I sort of have mixed feelings about this generation of Cherokee. And the reason for that is that it's a Jeep, but it's not a Jeep. You wouldn't see this thing really in the mud pits. You wouldn't see this down some dried up riverbed in Omaha. You know, like, this isn't the most manly Jeep of Jeeps. And I was a lot more upset because my friend actually had one in this same exact body style, I believe same year too, that it was a green Jeep that had a 3.6 liter. And I drove that thing around just for fun one night. That really didn't feel like a Jeep. That just felt like an SUV. But this with the 5.7 liter V8, no, it doesn't feel the most Jeepy, but it kind of fills in those gaps with that power. And as you could probably tell, if you guys saw my 98 Jeep Cherokee review, it was real loud, aggressive. This is a lot more refined. This is a Jeep you can live with, you can drive every single day of the week. Rain, shine, snow, whatever it is, you can drive this every single day. That's my biggest pet peeve with Jeep Wranglers, is that yes, they're amazing off-road. No one can beat them off-road. But when you have to drive them to your 9-to-5 job at Best Buy, they suck. They have hard rides. They're unaerodynamic. They get piss gas mileage. And so during the week, Wranglers are horrible, horrible cars to drive. I mean, I'm sorry. They're really not good cars to drive every day of the week. But on the weekends, you can take the top off and have fun. This is a civilized Jeep. This is the Jeep that wears a necktie. This is the Jeep that has a desk job. This is the Jeep that makes an honest wage. That's not to say that this is bland or bleak or uninteresting, because obviously, put your foot down and you really feel the power of the 5.7. But it's also civilized. You can take this out on a date night, and your date doesn't have to decide what she's going to wear based on your car. You know, getting in and out of a Wrangler isn't easy. So you're probably going to want to wear flat bottom shoes and a longer dress. Or maybe a shorter dress would work. I don't know. but you're gonna have to dress appropriately for a Wrangler. But this, you're not gonna have to decide your wardrobe because of what you're driving. There are some cars that just feel more mature than others, and this is definitely one of those cars. This feels more mature than the other Jeeps in the same lineup. It's quiet, it's reserved, but it has power, but it's nice. It's not too flashy. I mean, look at the outside. It's not too some would say it's not flashy at all. It's really almost a very forgetful color, a very forgetful interior. So if you're someone who loves old Jeeps, I'm talking like the CJs, they take them off-roading, you know, it's been beaten for 200,000 miles, old carbureted Jeeps when Jeeps were Jeeps, 2 doors with a stick shift. If you love those Jeeps, I would take a look at these Cherokees because they're so comfortable, but you're still driving a Jeep. It's the least Jeep I think I've ever driven so far. But in this case, I think that's a good thing. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something about the 08 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys. There goes a sight from my soul.